Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this meeting of the Cabinet Grants Panel on Monday, the 15th of July. My name is Kevin Toogood. I'm the Council's Monitoring Officer. First order of business for today is the election of a chairman. So could I take a proposal and seconder, please? Councillor Eggleston.
As chairman.
I'd be very happy to second that.
Thank you. So could we go to the vote on that now, please? Thank you. I can confirm that's unanimous and Councillor Bennett is appointed chairman. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mr. Toogood, for overseeing the election of the chairman. I will now move on to item 2, which is the appointment of the vice chairman. Do we have a proposer?
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to nominate Councillor Anne-Marie Cook.
Thank you, Councillor Eggleston. And do we have a seconder?
I'm happy to second that proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Hobbs. Please can we go to the vote on that? And that has been agreed unanimously, so Councillor Anne-Marie Cook is the Vice Chair of the Cabinet Grants Panel. Item 3 is to receive apologies for absence. I have none. And item 4 is to receive declarations of interest from members in respect of any matter on the agenda. Do any members have interest that they would like to declare? Please indicate now. No, I see none. So, item 5, to be agreed by general affirmation, the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 19th of February 2024. Could we verbally affirm that, please? Agreed? Thank you. Item 6 is to consider any items that I consider to be urgent. I have none. And item 7 is to receive representations from members of the council on the applications. At present in the chamber, I have Councillor Richard Bates. Do you have any representations you'd like to make, Richard? Okay, thank you. In which case, we can move on to the substantive agenda item, which are the corporate grant schemes and the community grants. And so I'll turn to Judy Holmes, who's going to introduce the report. Judy.
Thank you, Chairman. The report is obviously self-explanatory. It is asking the Capital Grants Panel to agree to fund 9 organisations. Those are outlined in paragraphs 7 to 25 and Appendix A. In the bidding round, the Council received 16 applications. They've been carefully considered against the criteria, and the officers are recommending the panel agree to fund 9 at a total cost of £31,521. On this occasion, officers are not recommending the panel agree to fund 7 organisations who bid for a total of £44,272. The reasons these bids are not recommended for funding is outlined in paragraphs 26 to 32 and in Appendix A, Table 2. We can answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Do any members of the Cabinet Grants Panel have questions or comments that they'd like to make in respect of any of the bids in the report? Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your election. Just a few comments, if I can. 1 or 2 bits and pieces. One of the things which I'm picking up on is that a lot of things like the community cupboards seem to be expanding their... sorry, I'll put my glasses on so I can peer across the room. A lot of like the community cupboards seem to be expanding their activities into the social welfare I just wondered, how much is this starting to cut across the sort of things that we do with the housing enabling team? And in particular, I've also picked up on a West Sussex activity, a group called PAT, which I can't quite remember what PAT stands for, which is, because we're going to talk about PAT in another sense as well. But I just wondered whether or not we were starting to get a number of activities in the same area as all of these, very laudable indeed, to work on the wider issues of social deprivation. But my question is really to what extent it's being coordinated. Shall I continue with the next one, or shall I look for?
How many points have you got, Councillor Gibson?
I was going to
Have you got
talk
three?
about the repair cafe as well, and also Parkfield Equine Solutions. So.
Okay, I suggest you make your 3 points and then we'll ask
Very
officers
much.
to respond on each.
The repair cafe one, I'm getting concerned. I set up the original repair cafe in mid Sussex in Crawley Down and Turners Hill when I was elected in 2019. I used the allowance to fund that, so I have the councillor's allowance. So I have a good idea of how much it costs to run these things. And I am sort of concerned about the way in which these things seem to be getting commercialised. So it's more of a general comment. The paper mentions both Forest Row and Crawley Down. The business model for Crawley Down is that any donations are donated, and over the period of the past 4 years we've received £1,200 in donations for items which are repaired. That is, and we are a relatively small activity. Forest Row, their business model is that they reinvest any donations in the parish council activity, so it is much more commercialised. And Chailey, the other large one, I know uses donations to run the activity. I worry about PAT testing simply because Repair Cafe should steer clear of any activities which are provided commercially within the community. And for instance, the Crawley Down and Turners Hill Repair Cafe does not repair bicycles because there's a very good bicycle repair commercial business in the area. So I just wonder where we're going with this, but I do recognise I'm going to support the activities, but it's more of a general comment. And the last thing on
Stepping on people's toes, already delivering this type of work. With regards to your next point on the repair cafe, the bid was to support 2 volunteers to help with the training, and it's also to help with the sharpening equipment and storage of that equipment as well. So again, it's an expansion of what they're doing, and there are some additional costs they want to do there, but the officers really were looking more at the intention there for the volunteering aspect and training up the volunteers within the service. So scored it appropriately for that, and want to recommend it for that in terms of the volunteering aspect and value added on that point. Parkfield Equine Solutions, this activity, they're hoping to help support at least between 48 individuals, depending on if they're group sessions or individual sessions, or if they're group sessions, around 200 to 400 people that would support the sessions. Some of them are different sessions depending on what they get in terms of referrals. So they may be one-to-one sessions which are more expensive, less light touch, and the group sessions obviously have a better value for money. Very popular activity, and obviously want to expand it into the area. They've got a great demand and need for this type of support.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I will now go to Councillor Eggleston.
Thank you, Chair. If I could come back firstly on the Burgess Hill Community Cupboard, as I had a hand in establishing it when I was leader of the Town Council in Burgess Hill. I think it's worth reflecting that it's part of an umbrella organisation called Your Local Pantry, and its aims and objectives are not just about running a discounted supermarket. It is about providing a wider wraparound service, dealing with budgeting, cooking on a budget, providing other advice, and also support. So it is so the fact that they've now moved on to be able to provide these services, these additional services, meets within the core objectives of your local pantry. I think it's got something like 237 members, so it's probably supporting in not just Burgess Hill, but in the nearby villages, and some from Hayward Heath, probably 750 to 800 people that it's supporting. So the fact that we can give them a grant is to be welcomed. And likewise, you know, I'm very familiar with the work of Befriended and how that supports, you know, not just you know, older people who are isolated, but also working with people with dementia and their carers. And I think that's a very good grant that we are giving. So thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Eggleston. I don't think there was a question in there for officers, in which case I'll move over to Councillor Cook.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have a question. Thank you for the detailed report from the officers. It all looks pretty clear to me. I just want to say that it's fabulous to see so many great applications from across the district. But to pick out a couple, I have witnessed the work done by Kangaroos, and I'm really pleased to support them and wish them congratulations on their 30th birthday. To have a party for 400 people sounds like a great achievement. And the second one that I was going to comment on was the Repair Cafe. I'm quite involved with the Lindfield Repair Cafe, and I do know how much the sharpening equipment gets used. Going on from what Ian was saying, the sharpening equipment is very useful because people come in with their shears or their kitchen knives, which may well not have been worth going and having a charged for repair, but keep these items in use for many more years ongoing and keeps them out of landfill, of course. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cook. Councillor Hobbs.
Thank you. I just also wanted to thank the officers for pulling together all of these grant applications, and also the applicants who we hope are successful in their grants. I just wanted to, like Councillor Eggleston, just refer to Befriended. In the south of the district where this grant will be used, we used to have a charity until earlier in this year that was operating a dementia service, and I became aware of their work, and unfortunately they had to cease operations because their funding streams dried up. And I'm very, very aware that not only is this a support line for individuals who are suffering from dementia, but also a really important service for their carers and an opportunity for a release for them. So I would recommend to anybody who is thinking perhaps of offering this kind of service that, you know, at Mid Sussex would be prepared to listen to any funding applications that would meet our criteria in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hobbs. A couple of remarks of my own just to add. In terms of the Burgess Hill Community Cupboard, I was particularly pleased about the proposal to introduce cookery classes with the Impact Foundation. This is something that's been discussed briefly at the Mid Sussex Partnership Board a couple of times recently. And I think in collaboration with Mid Sussex Voluntary Action and the Food Partnership coordinating work that we're doing, there is a real scope for that to be grown, and I also think there's a genuine need in our community to help people, you know, learn how to cook and how to cook healthily and economically. So I was particularly pleased to see that. And on Kangaroos, I mean, this is a charity that means quite a lot to this council, I think, and a previous chairman, Councillor Margaret Belsey, chose it as her chairman's charity, you know, only a little over a year ago. So I'm really pleased that they've, you know, got a celebration coming up and we're able to support them with that. I have no further comments, so I will ask members to look at the recommendations listed on page 13, and if we could move to a vote, I would be very appreciative. Thank you. Everybody's voted and the proposals have been passed unanimously. That brings us to the end of the agenda, and so all that's left is for me to close the meeting at 16 minutes past 12. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you.